our submarines could have been taken out by other Akulas. We can play these games all night, Mr. Hunter, but I don't have the luxury of your presumptions.
Sir.
Mr. Hunter, we have rules that are not open to interpretation, personal intuition, gut feelings, hairs on the back of your neck, little devils or angels sitting on your shoulders.
Captain.
We're all very well aware of what our orders are and what those orders mean. They come down from our commander-in-chief. They contain no ambiguity.
Captain.
Mr. Hunter, I've made a decision. I'm captain of this boat. Now shut the up!
Cholo Trucker Mass movies and shows. All right, man. All right. We're gonna talk a little bit about Gene Hackman. All right, man. What am I doing here? All right, let me go ahead and bring in my tag team partner so we could have a little fun with this, man. From Two-Face Entertainment. Don't forget about Central Cali. One, Mr. Fred Segura.
Here's my Gene Hackman impression, bro. Hey, man, how's everybody doing, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you again. We're back at
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, it's always good talking to you, carnal. Hit the like. I
Right?
appreciate that, Debbie.
Hey,
Appreciate that.
thank you, baby. Definitely. Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, good old
So,
Gene, huh?
good old Gene Hackman, man. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to go ahead and put this
Hmm.
disclaimer out there. All right.
Jesus.
Still don't know everything that went down. Okay. As more information is coming out, seems like maybe there was some funny business going on. We don't know exactly all the details. All right. So we're just gonna keep it to his career. All
Yes.
right. Because we don't know really what went on. As more details are coming out, some things kind of look a little bit fishy, right? But
Yes.
we're just gonna keep it to his career. So
And his
um
legacy, right? His legacy, brother. That's the thing, the man. What he left us here, you know.
his legacy for sure, his legacy, man. So all right, man. So first of all, I'll go ahead and say this. Hey, did you know he was 95 years old, Fred?
You know what? I actually thought he was in his 80s. To be honest with you, bro, I didn't know he was 95. That's amazing, bro. That's like seriously amazing. You
Yeah,
know.
you know,
Yeah.
I guess I was hearing it on the radio that he retired from acting in 2008. I didn't know
Mhm.
that. I didn't know he
Yes.
retired. I didn't know that he officially came out and said, "Hey, I'm out of the showbiz game." I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And the latest picture I saw of him, once they announced that he had passed away, they showed a picture of him. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know he looked that old, man. I didn't.
Yeah.
I still in my mind, I still kind of pictured him, still looking like,
Like,
you know,
Unforgiven.
that- yeah, like Unforgiven, like Crimson Tide, like, I
Yeah.
still pictured
Yeah.
him like that. But it's like, oh no, man, he was a really
Yeah.
old man. He was looking like Mr. Burns.
Yeah, no, you know what, brother? I knew about it when he retired, and I was like, man, like that's it, you know. Um, and we'll get into the last great movie that he really had, but um, I remember seeing a few years ago that he had gone into like a gas station or a fast food place or something, and a gas station, and he got a chicken sandwich, and he was eating it, bro. He was pumping gas into a Toyota Tundra, bro. That's what he was driving. The man was a
Okay.
humble dude. He didn't like all that. Oh, look at me! I'm Gene Hackman. Even though I guess he did at first, you know. Hey, right on, bro. Oh yeah, no, that's another good one. Um, with William Defoe. Um, and yeah, man. I mean, the guy. I gotta give it to him, man. He left a lot of movies, that were like he was just an outstanding actor. I'm not saying that because he passed. I own a lot of his movies that he starred in, because darn this cough, bro. Yeah, man, but some of them were funny, comedic. Some of them were action. He played a detective or whatnot, or an officer, a military man. Just different, military man as well. Just different stuff, man. That it was awesome. But yeah, no, yeah, that's really it, man. A coach. He played a coach a couple of times.
Yeah, since he passed away, I learned a few things about him. For one,
Mhm.
he was born in San Bernardino. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that he was originally from Killer Cali. He was
Yeah.
born in San Bernardino, but grew up. I forgot. I think in Illinois. He didn't grow
Yes.
up in California. He was born in San Bernardino. He was born in California, but he grew up in Illinois, Iowa, some I forgot what state. And
Um,
he lied to get into the military. I think it was the
yeah.
Marine.
Yeah.
You
He
know,
did.
you
Yeah.
know, Fred. Okay, Fred. Talking to like some real old timers, right?
Hmm.
That's one thing that kind of blows me away a little bit. Talking to some real old timers, it's like, oh yeah, lied to get into the military. It's like, huh? Was the military like that easy to get into back then? Like you just go and say, like you
Yeah.
just go and just say like, hey, you know what? I'm 18, man. I want to join. Oh, okay. Hey, just come on in. Like, was
Yeah.
it really like that?
You know what? He's not the first I've heard to say something like that. Even
Oh,
in my life as well, I've heard people say that. That they lied to
yeah,
get into the military. I'm like, man, that's crazy to me. Like what the. So
yeah,
I don't want to call myself old, but it doesn't seem that long ago that you could do that and get in. Like what the like that's it. Like I don't know, man. I mean that's
yeah.
it's just weird to me. It's weird to me.
He okay. He didn't finish high school. And
Hmm.
at 16 years old, he lied about his age. He gets into, I believe it was the Marines, goes into, and I'm just kind of like flipping out because I'm like, okay, I've heard so many people say that, oh, they lied about their age and they got into the military, like in World War II and Vietnam even. And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
how, like, I tried to get into the military, man, and they wouldn't let me in. Like, wait a second, how easy was
How
it back then
did you do it,
just to
right?
join? Like, wow, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, he comes back and he goes to New York to pursue acting, does does some plays and stuff, and then eventually gets I think his first role, I forgot what movie it was, but his first role, he didn't he didn't have any parts. He was just kind of there. He didn't have no
Yeah.
lines, and eventually he gets some lines, and oh man, little by little, his career starts blowing up. Fred, what was the first movie that you remember seeing him on?
For me, man, well, it had to be Superman, bro. The
Okay.
original 1978 Superman. That's when I first got introduced to Gene Hackman. I mean, that's where it started when I went. Lex Luthor, which is an awesome role too that he knocked out. I think that was one of the great roles that he did, man. A lot of the stuff in there is iconic. Just his role alone. I think he everybody focuses on Christopher Reeve, but if you
Mm.
look at Gene Hackman, and again, I'm not saying that because the man passed. There's a lot of good scenes in that movie where he's just he's just a conniver, he's just a dirtbag, you know what I mean? Just trying to swindle his way into things, I mean, his body language, the way he handles things. And allow me to say this, bro. There's a scene in Superman where he puts the kryptonite over his neck and throws him into the pool, into the indoor pool, right?
Mm.
And he says, "Hey, Superman." Before that, Superman tells him, "Hey," he goes, "I bet you don't even care where the other missiles are headed." That's toward the end where he sends a missile out to destroy the world, so Superman can, save everybody or whatever, try to, outdo him. And then uh, Lex Luthor tells him, "Of course I do." He goes, Hackensack, New Jersey." And then he goes, and he throws him into the pool, and Superman has a kryptonite around him. So he goes to the bottom of the pool, right? He's like, "No hard feelings." He goes, "My fault is in California." Just the way he says, the way he says that, bro. And then he walks, right? He walks over to the girl, his assistant or whatever. And Lex Luthor,
Uh-huh.
she goes, "Lex, my mother lives in Hackensack or whatever, And he's all, I'm just like, dude, like, It was just awesome. You know what I mean? I love that stuff, man. It was just awesome, dude. That just to see that, you know. And there's more films where they're just little parts, you know, that that are awesome. You know, that are awesome. People tend to overlook that stuff. You know, kind of just like,
Mm.
oh yeah, well he was Lex Luthor. Oh yeah, cool. I remember. Yeah, he had a bald head. Yeah, yeah, we know that. But you know, there's just a lot of stuff, man. But anyways, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
There was okay. Okay, the Superman thing actually for me, it wasn't the first time I seen him.
Hmm.
Um, there was a movie, and if anybody can help me out,
Uh-huh.
I should have done some research, and I've seen it more than once. I just never caught what this movie was called.
Uh-huh.
It was a ship in the ocean, and it turned over. It capsized. So now they're trying to make their way to the bottom of the ship, but they're going up because the ship is sinking
Yeah.
down. It's an old 70s movie, and
Something
that's
Poseidon.
what is it?
Some I forgot the name. Something Poseidon. It's called something Poseidon. It's the Poseidon or something like that. Yeah. It's yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know the name of it, but I've seen that movie like 3 times,
Uh-huh.
and I've never got the name of it. And I was just like, you know what? That was the first time I ever seen him. I remember
Yeah.
exactly. I was a little kid, and my uncle was watching it, and I went and sat down. I used to like kicking with my uncle. I don't know. I was like 4 or something like that,
Uh-huh.
and we just sat down and we watched that movie, and I liked it. You know, I
Yeah.
liked it. We're talking about like the I don't know early mid '80s or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that movie
I'll
came
look
out in the
it up.
'70s.
Uh-huh.
And like the family was watching it, they were like into it and stuff. And spoiler alert, he does die. He sacrifices himself to save them all.
Okay.
Poseidon Adventure, is that it?
There you go. There you
It
go. I was just about to look it
okay,
up right now
that's
too,
it.
though. Yeah.
Okay, gracias. There you go. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I gotta jot that sucker down, man.
Yeah. You, you
All
know
right.
what, bro? As you're doing that, also too, a lot of people don't know that he was in acting school with Dustin Hoffman, and
Yeah,
I think
they were good
Pasadena
homies,
Playhouse.
right?
Huh?
They were good homies.
Yeah,
They ended
they
up
were
becoming
really
good
good
homies.
friends. Yeah, and they were in the same class in and I think in Pasadena there was a Pasadena Playhouse or something like that, where Gene Hackman was really terrible at it though. He just kind of like he just really they threw him out. Like they threw you know he didn't finish. Thank you. He didn't finish, and they told him he wouldn't. You know he wasn't good. That's when he went back to New York to prove them wrong. He went back to do Broadway to to prove
Mm.
them wrong, come back and prove them wrong. And then ironically, uh, his first big break was in 1967 with the movie Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Mia Farrow, I think it was. And also that's Gene Wilder's, not Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder's first role in that movie Bonnie and Clyde. But here's the irony of that. That was also the year Dustin Hoffman made his breakthrough in 1967 with the movie The Graduate. So that's kind of ironic, you know, that they were buddies and they ended up kind of breaking in at the same time. So yeah, you know, I thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah, no, they remained homies. They remained
Yeah,
friends all the way through and through. Dustin Hoffman and Gene
yeah,
Hackman, man. You
yeah.
know, Gene Hackman. What is he most known to you for? Like what roles or what scenes or what character?
You know what, man? There's a lot of them though, man. Because I've seen a lot of them in like, God, I've seen them in like I said in comedy. Superman. Uh, I saw him in Unforgiven where he played Little Bill
Mm.
Daggett. You know, and he's just a. Um, you know what? Hold on, before I get into that, Enemy of the State. Uh, uh,
Yeah, that was good with Will Smith.
yeah,
Yes.
and Get Shorty, obviously, Crimson Tide. Uncommon Valor, The French Connection. I've seen a lot of these films, but I will mention one that he felt the most proud of, and it never made it to the never was a blockbuster hit. Was called Scarecrow in 1973, and he stars alongside Al Pacino. And there's these two drifters. I've watched it. Yeah, The French Connection, man. No, yeah, that was well. That was 1971. But in Scarecrow, there's these two drifters, and they're just going across, walking across, hitchhiking across the country. That's what the film.
Okay.
And he felt the most proud of that film. He said that was his best part, the best movie he ever made, and it never made any noise, man. And it has Al Pacino in it as well. So yeah,
Around what year? What year did that come out?
73.
73.
73.
Okay.
It's called Scarecrow. Yeah,
Scarecrow.
yeah.
Okay. And
Pacino and Gene
okay.
Hackman.
Oh, okay, Fred. He said he's the most proud of it, but do you
Mhm.
recommend the movie?
You know what? I saw it, man, and it's just, see, I'm a movie lover, man. So I would think, yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was good. But see, here's my thing. When I watch something like that, I place myself in that time, not in
Mm,
today's world. Because you're still in today's world, you kind of you start disregarding stuff. I mean, just as far as even not even going back that far. What was it 95? Was it Get Shorty? There's a
okay. Okay.
scene where he calls Ray Barboni. The guy's on in the restroom, sitting down on the throne, and he's like, "Oh man!" And he gets up, puts up his pants, and walks over to the phone. See, it's stuff like that today in today's world doesn't really work. But we'll
Right.
talk about that scene later. But see, that's what I mean by that. So I kind of place myself in that time. Like, it just seems easy. Like when they're drifting across country, hitchhiking, it's like, well, call somebody, and it's like, it's just a different time. So you got to kind of put yourself in that moment too, though, and understand that, that it wasn't
Uh,
that easy.
okay, Fred. Well,
Uh-huh.
Debbie right here is saying Scarecrow sounds interesting. Should she go watch it? Should she? This is on you, Fred. This is
Yeah.
on you, Holmes.
Okay.
Should she go watch this? Way, hey, Debbie, I have his email. That's how I give him the
Yeah.
con. I will give you his email if you want to send him hate mail. If you end up hating Scarecrow, Fred, this is on
Yeah.
you. Should she go watch Scarecrow?
You know what? I wouldn't recommend it. I would not
Okay.
recommend it. If you are not a movie fan, if you're not a movie fan about it, then I wouldn't recommend it. I enjoyed it though, but yeah, I would not recommend it. I'll give you that. I'll give
Okay.
you
Okay.
that. I'll be like, hey, wait up. I'll be like, wait up, man. Hey, man, don't be sending out my email. No, man, it's cool.
you there's movies that he made so great, but he
Yeah,
probably wasn't really remembered for the movie because
yeah.
he probably wasn't the main star, especially once you move forward. Some of the actors, like he was in the movie The Firm
Oh
with
yeah,
uh with with
yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
His
Yeah.
his character comes out so damn strong, just like how I showed in the beginning with Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington, a young Denzel, by the way. I,
Yes.
I love Gene Hackman's characters in movies.
Yeah.
Hoosiers, okay,
Oh yeah.
Hoosiers is
Yeah.
known to most people as the best basketball movie ever. I'm gonna say it's the second best basketball movie ever, but nonetheless, an all-time great. And I think that's probably where most people remember him from
Yeah.
Hoosiers.
Yeah.
What's your thought about his role in Hoosiers? He's there alongside with shoot, the guy from Speed, the villain,
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis
Yeah,
Hopper.
what's your thoughts
Yeah.
on his because
Hey,
I
you know
think
what?
that's where I think that's where most people remember him from. That was his movie. That he was the main guy right there.
Yeah, 1986. You know what? I have that on Blu-ray, man. Yeah. You know what, man? Just the way he God, where am I going with this? Just overall, man, how he carried himself as a coach when he gives him the
Mhm.
speech. Wait, I'm confusing that with the replacements.
Oh
No, no,
yeah, The Replacement. That was a
no,
football movie.
yeah, yeah. No, when
Yeah, with
when
Keanu Reeves.
he gives him the speech, in Hoosiers, he gives him a speech. Don't think about the what did he say? Don't think about the opposite team, or I forget. He says something to that effect. But anyhow, but yeah, no, yeah, that is a good movie, man. That is a very good movie. I remember it a lot, baby, but I
What
do
what
know it's
what?
1983. Excuse me.
Okay, well when you hear Gene Hackman, what's the first movie that comes to mind? What's the most memorable movie of Gene Hackman for you?
For me, honestly, even though I say Superman, the first thing that comes to mind is Unforgiven.
Okay.
I, because that was toward the end, and I thought he did an awesome job in that. And mind you, I didn't like that movie at first when I first watched it when it first came out. I saw it at the movies and I was like, man, what's the big deal about this? But then I think I went back and saw it again and I enjoyed it, man. So yeah, no, definite.
Unforgiven. Fred, I'm kind of okay. Well, you kind of switched it up, but I'm kind of with you. Like Unforgiven. I mean, I think it's a decent movie, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, man, I don't get the whole hype behind it. Like it's like, okay, wait a second, because people treat it like it's a masterpiece. I'm like, I mean, it's all right. It's enjoyable. If I never watch it again, I'm okay with it. I enjoyed it. It was all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have it like, wow, Unforgiven. Like it's, you have
Oh
to
yeah.
watch. Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, the
I'm
whole
not saying that.
storyline was, it was just kind of, it's these women and they put up the money for it. And what was it? What was Clint Eastwood's name? William Money. And then he has Morgan Freeman. And
Yes,
it,
Morgan Freeman.
and I honestly think that a lot of it was Gene Hackman stole the show on that as well. Again, I'm not saying it because of the situation, but when he had the guy in the cell, the what is it, a bookkeeper or whatever, the guy writing the story for English Bob, which is Richard Harris in Unforgiven. He's from
Yeah,
England, and then he had him in the cell, and he's talking about so the duck carried two guns or something like that, and then the guy goes, that's Duke, and then he's all Duck. I says like he kept calling him Duck. See stuff like that, dude. Like it's just like intimidating, dude. He was just like a strong dude. You know what I mean? Like he was just like Duck. Like he goes, the deadly duck. It
yeah,
was, it was just, what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like it just his mannerisms through the films. He came off as a strong, really strong dude. Like a strong man.
yeah.
And some films he did not. Some films he was just kind of like. But I mean, but that's what the role called for. But he was a great actor, man. I gotta give it that.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Drunken Chef. Drunken Chef, you're old as heck, man. You remember when crucifixion was the death penalty? What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie from back in the day, man? Um, so when the first movie that comes to mind when I hear Gene Hackman, it's Crimson Tide, man. It's
Okay,
Crimson
okay.
Tide. It's that scene that I showed in the beginning. That's the first thing when I hear Gene Hackman.
Mhm.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. The Because him and Denzel, they're not buddy buddies. You could tell there's a little bit of friction between the
Yeah,
two right there, right? They're all stuck
definitely.
in the submarine, and that's the first time that it blows up, where it's like, okay, we're going to war, you and I, in this submarine.
Yeah,
You could tell like they're leading up to it. Denzel's character isn't really all in touch with what Gene Hackman's character's doing. They're kind of like bumping heads, but respectfully.
yeah,
They're having good conversations, and You could tell, like, they don't really like one another, but they're keeping it good, respectfully. And that scene right there, that's the first time we were just like, okay,
Yeah.
let's handle business then.
Yeah.
Let's stop trying to play like we like each other. I don't like you, you don't like me. Let's go to war right here in this
Yeah.
submarine. Let's
Yeah.
handle it.
Dude. No.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it. Love it, man.
That's awesome.
Either that, either that, or I'll tell you this one. And this movie is not my favorite of his, and
Mhm.
it's a decent movie, but
Mhm.
it's not, like a great movie. And that is Behind Enemy Lines. I
You
don't know
you
if you
know
got.
what? I never saw that one, man. That one I gotta say, I never saw that one. Yeah, that's probably
I-
why. 'Cause it's not. It was like, but no, I saw Homecoming Valor though, but that was awesome. But anyway, go ahead, man. So behind
yeah,
enemy lines,
Behind
yeah,
Enemy Lines. It's good. It's same thing. He's in the Navy. He's a captain, I guess, on an aircraft carrier, and it's Owen Wilson. He's a pilot. He gets shot down. They murder his pilot because he's the Rio. He's the guy in the back, and I
mhm,
forgot what country he's in. And they got to go out and rescue him. And Gene Hackman just does a really great job. I it,
okay,
whenever he's gonna play like that serious guy, good stuff. I mean, Enemy of State with
yeah,
Will Smith. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like some of these movies, he probably wasn't the main character, but that
mhm.
movie wouldn't be what it was without him in it.
Definite, definite. You know, funny thing about it, French Connection, 1971. They
Mm.
said he was miscast as that role. They didn't want him in that role, and that was the first movie he won his first Academy Award for Best Actor in that film. In that movie, The French Connection,
Yeah,
and which is,
and
it just showed
and well
his,
deserved.
yeah, yeah. You,
And
you
well,
know what that
I mean,
that chase. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
mm,
That chase scene where he goes and tells the guy from the subway, right? He goes, "Hey, where's the train stop next?" He goes, "Oh, like on 24th or whatever street, you know." And he goes and gets in a car, stops traffic, jumps in a car. I need the car, police. Takes off after the subway. He wrecks the living crap out of the car, dude. But he gets the guy. The end. It's just an intense scene driving through. And I know we've seen. There's movies like um, what was it? Bullet with Steve McQueen, with his car scenes.
mm.
Um, they try to say the movie Ronin with Robert De Niro,
Oh
but
yeah, Ronan. Yeah.
you know, but the French Connection, man, that chase scene when he's chasing the subway, dude, that thing was intense, bro. Like just I mean, that's not into the film. I mean, his whole role in that. Oh, the excuse me, was it Jimmy Doyle was his name in the movie? But I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, no, yeah, that's another good one, man. No,
Hey,
definite.
Fred, you
Uh,
brought up Uncommon Valor.
yes.
Okay, I've never seen that movie. Should I watch it?
Oh yeah, that one you should. I do recommend that one. I very
Okay.
much recommend that one, bro. Yes,
Okay.
it's a military film. I highly recommend that film. Yeah,
Okay.
it's about
Okay.
he's training um military dudes. It stars Patrick Swayze is in that as well, and he's training people. He's like what is it? I don't know if he's
Is
the
that is that when Patrick Swayze gets his ass kicked by what's his name? TC what's his name? Cobb.
yes,
God,
yes, that's it,
what's that
that's it.
actor's name?
Yeah, something Cobb, right? The guy with the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
old mustache and beard. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I know who he is because he used to be a boxer, an actual boxer, and then
yes,
he did some karate. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
that
that's the
movie.
one. That's the one.
Okay,
He's in
okay,
the
I
little river or whatever, the little there's water and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
He's trying to
he
cut in
kicks
the log.
yeah he kicks his ass right there. Okay,
Yeah,
I I vaguely remember that movie except for
yeah,
that scene. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll check that movie out, man.
definitely,
But
definitely.
Fred, let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite scenes
Okay.
with Gene Hackman, man. I know you got something on your mind.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? First of all, one of the scenes, and I'll start with this one though, was Young Frankenstein from 1974. Jesus, man. Where he plays the blind man and Frankenstein. It's a comedy. And he goes in and he's all like, "Hey, you can't see him." He goes, "Oh man," he's like, "You must have been the tallest in your class or something." He says something because he can't see him, and he's all, "Arr," the guy's doing the Frankenstein thing, and he tells him, he goes, "Oh, you're a mute." He goes, "Okay, you know what? Sit down. We're gonna give you soup." And every time he's trying to serve him the soup, he pours it on his lap, and the guy just you have to watch it. That's one of my favorite scenes from him. But another one is the film Get Shorty, bro. 1995
Okay.
was it? 1995. Get Shorty. Harry Zim. He plays.
See.
He plays
Yeah, yeah, 95,
the,
95, Get Shorty.
the movie producer. Yeah, Harry Zim. So there's $300,000 that John Travolta playing Shirley Palmer is walking around with all this money, and he calls Ray Barboni, which is Dennis Franz. God rest his soul till he passed. The guy that used to do Unsolved Mysteries after Robert Stack. But that guy lives in
Oh,
Florida.
Dennis Farina.
Farina, there you go.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and he lives in Miami. So Gene Hammond, he's all smug about it, right? He calls him up. The guy's in the restroom and he's like, "Oh, who is this?" "This is the guy telling me what to do." He's telling him all this stuff like, you a-hole, effing this and effing that. Like, he's just thrashing him all over, right? The guy's all, "Who is this?" He goes, "Oh, he goes, what did he tell him? He
Uh,
goes, Harry Zim wants to have a meeting. You should need to come over and have a meeting with Harry Zim." He goes, "Who's Harry Zim? I never heard of him." He goes, "You know why?" He goes, "Because you have not gotten out of Miami." That day, he's telling him this on the phone. He goes, "He's the biggest movie producer, whatever, whatever." Anyways, the guy, Ray Barboni, Dennis, he flies to LA and he's sitting
right.
in front of him and he tells him, "Where's Chili Palmer? Where's this guy, and where's my money?" He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "Look, you can put the 300,000 into this movie, whatever, and all this other stuff." He's trying to connive him. And the guy goes, "Where's my money?" He goes, "Hey, look at me, Ray, look at me." And the guy, the guy picks up the landline, the phone, and just beats the brakes off of uh off of Gene Hackman. He starts beating him up. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "You know what? He goes, "You know what, Harry?" He goes, "This is what I needed after a long plane ride." And he starts just beating the crap out of him. Which this is the thing that takes me back to this, bro. That's
Yeah,
almost the equivalent of the internet.
all right.
Because the guy's talking to him brave over the phone, like, "Hey, you should come over here and woo 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 woo."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then he just
yeah.
starts. He, I mean, I don't know. I
All
just
right,
thought that was funny, dude.
Fred.
Those people that haven't seen it, they need to watch it, man. Because I'm not making too much sense. I know that part already. But yeah, that's one of
Okay,
the
we
movies that
okay.
really just cracks me up.
All right, we do not own the rights to this. Hopefully, they don't kick us off. Let me
Okay,
see if I can bring that up right here.
okay, cool. That'd be awesome.
All
Oh,
right,
that's after. That's after when he shows up after.
we can only we can only play so much.
Okay,
Let's see here. Now they're gonna kick us off.
are they?
Piece of a major motion picture. How much of a piece is entirely up to you. What I'm saying is, you could invest part of the 300 grand that Palmer.
This is where he beats him down, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. This is after.
Yeah.
This is
Owe you,
after.
or
Yeah,
all of
after
it.
something.
It's entirely up to you.
Where's Chili Palmer? Where's Leo DeVoe? Where's my fucking money?
Ray, look at me.
Hey, by the way, for those who
Uh-huh.
don't know, this guy right here that you see on the screen, Dennis Farina, he did do Unsolved Mysteries in like
Yeah,
the 2000s, like 2006, 2007, 2008. A lot of
yeah,
people think that Unsolved Mysteries stopped and it just came back, it resurfaced with Netflix. No, there's actually
yeah,
a middle portion of Unsolved Mysteries of
yeah,
like a good 5 seasons actually
yeah.
with
Yeah, with
this
him in it.
gentleman right here. He's the one
Yeah.
that did it.
What?
Look at me, Ray.
Did you just say look at you? Look at me, Ray. I tell you what, Harry. Why don't you take a fucking look at this? And have a peek at this.
Oh my god, bro. That's too funny, dude. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You know, you know what, bro? I know we look wrong when you're laughing at this, but you got to see the movie to understand what's going on here, bro. That's why I thought it was hilarious, bro. Like,
Oh snap! Hold on, we gotta do this again. We gotta do this again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And by the way, you couldn't do that. This was 1995. You couldn't do that with telephones today. The
oh yeah,
telephone will
no,
break.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I did.
yeah, it'd be like a slap. But telephones back
Yeah,
then, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's do
yeah.
this.
Did you say look at you? Look at me, Ray. Look at me,
Wait,
Ray.
hang on. Here we go.
Did you just say look at you? Look at me, Ray. I tell you what, Harry. Why don't you take a fucking look at this? And
He just started throwing them all over the room, dude. Oh my god,
have a peek at this. You know, Harry, this is the exact fucking thing I needed. A little fucking exercise after that long fucking plane ride.
All right. I don't want them to kick us off, though.
hey, bro. And when he told when he say, "This is exactly what I needed," some exercise. That was like,
Oh,
whoa, it's in plane right. Right? He just beating the crap out of him. But keep in mind, though,
ah,
before that, he called them all the way to Miami, thinking he wasn't going
yeah.
to show up, I guess, or whatever. He's like, yeah, you know, hey, disrespecting him. And the guy actually showed up. The guy showed up, man. It's just, oh, man.
Uh, yeah, drunken chef. Yeah, drop your spices, homie. For anybody who likes seasoning, well, everybody loves seasoning. You don't want to eat me just like that, man. Go check out Drunken Chef. I get his seasoning all the time. Great,
Oh,
great
nice.
stuff, man. For dang sure. Uh,
Oh,
oh,
God.
that's such
Oh,
a great scene, right? Did you say, "Look at me"? Take a look at this, and just smacks him with the phone, dog.
See, bro, when I explained it, it's not that funny, but when you see it, you're like, oh, damn. Like, he just, like, and he starts throwing them all over the room. Man. Like, telling him
Oh,
he
dog.
exercise after the long plane ride. Like, he's mad all the way from Miami, though. He came all the way to LA. You know what I mean? He's like, Jesus.
Uh,
He's just like, he's
that
so
is that is
upset with him, man. He don't care
that is
about no
so
movie. He just
great.
wants some money.
That is so great. You know what? We gotta see it one more time. Come on, we gotta see it
Let's
one more
do it.
time.
Let's
We
do
gotta see it one more time. In full screen too. We gotta see it one more time in full
Let's do
screen.
it, man.
It's just so damn good. All right, let's see. Here we go.
Look at me. What? Look at me, Ray. Did you just say look at you? Look at me, Ray. I tell you what, Harry. Why don't you take a fucking look at this?
I'm sorry, bro. I started laughing as well. Man, it's just too much. That's too much. That movie's too funny, dude. It's just funny though, man.
All right, okay.
Oh,
I completely forgot about that scene.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
dog. I
man.
completely forgot about that scene. Holy smokes, dog.
Yeah, dude. And the way
It's
you know
so damn good.
it's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. When you see the movie, you're like, wow, man, it just got real for him. But yeah, man.
Damn. Hey,
Yeah, definitely.
Chef Dispenser, I don't have any mods, brother. But you guys go check out Drunken Chef right here. Go check out that channel right there. I'm telling you guys will not be disappointed.
Okay. Okay, sure.
And get some of the seasoning. Good stuff. I haven't used anything else ever since. I haven't used
Really? Damn.
the Lawry's or the garlic pepper that everybody likes to get and use in
Oh
there.
yeah.
I haven't used none of them. None of them. Nothing.
Really?
All I use is his stuff. That's it. He's
Hmm.
got so many different flavors. Great stuff, man. Um,
Huh. Cool.
all right.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
I can't get that
Uh,
out of my head now. It's a good-
man, dude, I got lightheaded, man, just watching that. And,
uh,
and you know what? Not that one's not as funny. The in Unforgiven, he does basically the same thing to Richard Harris, the English bug.
oh
He starts kicking him in
yeah.
the street. He starts beating
Yeah.
the crap out of him.
Yeah. You know, did you like him more as a villain or as a good guy?
You know what, man? I'm kind of look in Enemy of the State. I thought he did a great job. I like that. In But in Unforgiven as well, I thought he played a good bad guy as well. You know, I mean, he was a sheriff, but he was just a dirty sheriff. You know, but I mean, yeah, no, I think I liked them in both, dude. Like just the way he played his roles, man.
You know,
You know,
I'll tell you this, Brett. I'll tell you this. I don't really see much of a difference.
really.
At least the roles that they got him to play as a good guy,
Uh,
he was intense, man.
oh
He was
yeah, well, yeah,
intense. Yeah, I mean, think of him in when he's playing a good guy. Say Enemy of State, right?
yeah,
He's playing a good guy, but he's kind of heartless as a good
yeah.
guy. You know,
Well,
it's not he's never like a kisses and hugs kind of good guy. You know, he's kind of like this rough around the edges,
real
give you a boot
stern
to
guy.
your ass kind of good guy.
Yeah, because if you look at even you're right. Even if you look at Mississippi Burning, he plays the good guy, but he's just like
Right.
straight and direct. Like, you know, he grabs that guy by his kahuna, you know, like, oh, you know, and pulls him up and does all this, thank you, and pulls him up, man, and has them all, you know, shaking and sweating, man, under the table. You know what I mean? In the Mississippi Burning. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right in that. Yeah.
He was always intense, man. He was always even in a movie like Hoosiers, where like
Yeah.
he's a coach, but man, he was intense, man, when he was on that court, you know. So I mean, I didn't really see too much of a difference. I think he's one of those guys where it's like doesn't really matter. Um, he's just gonna do a good job as long as you give him the role where he can be him. You know, just
Yeah.
bring the intensity out, the energy that he has packed in. Bring that sucker out. If he can do that, he can do that being a good guy. He could do that being a villain. He can do that being a coach. He can do that wherever you need him to do that.
Yeah.
But you gotta let that out of him. You gotta give him that role where he can let that out and he could be the good guy, he could be the bad guy. It doesn't really matter. But as long as you
Very
let that
true.
energy come out of him, he's gonna knock it out of the park, man.
Yeah, no, very true, man. Very true. Yeah, man. You know what? Because I mean, even I mean, let's just say, even you know what? Richard Harris, the guy that played English Bob too, as well. I keep going back to that. He was quoted as saying that Gene Hackman was a very intimidating actor. He
I
went
could
ahead
see
and
that.
said that too. He said like, he was an intimidating actor, man. Like wow, like he was a strong, intimidating actor. So
I,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense, you know.
yeah, I could see that. He doesn't strike me as a guy that's all about, hugs, kisses, and roses. He doesn't strike me as a guy like that. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but
Yeah, yeah,
he just doesn't strike me as a guy like, we're just gonna, let's go out and pick some roses. And he just doesn't seem he just seems pretty rough around the edges,
yeah.
doesn't seem like a bad dude or anything. But yeah, I could see him being intimidating. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Fred, do you know
yeah.
what his last role was?
Welcome to Moose Hill, Moosehead, or something like that. Welcome to
Uh,
Moosehead,
Welcome to Mooseport.
Mooseport. There you go. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because it
I
said
go ahead.
because that movie came out. Is that with Romano?
Yes, Ray Romano. You
Okay,
know, I own that movie and I never watched it. I have it. I still, I think it's sealed, and I never watched it.
I'll leave
Yeah,
that to you, Carnal. If you
yeah.
recommend it, then I'll watch it. But I'm probably never gonna watch that sucker on my
When
own.
if I watch it, bro, I'll let you know. If you know, but I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
Uh, Yeah, so this movie came out in 2004, but Gene Hackman
Uh,
didn't retire till 2008. So
yeah.
4 years later is when he announced his retirement. So he wasn't too active. He did one movie before that, which was Runaway Jury,
Which is
and
that's from 2023, right? 2003.
2003, and
And that,
then he yes,
oh,
go for it,
right, I didn't mean to
go
cut
for
you
it.
off.
Yeah.
That's actually the first and only movie that he did alongside Dustin Hoffman ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were buddies from school. That's the only movie they did together.
I
Yeah,
did not know
Runaway
that.
Jury. Yes,
I did not
yes,
know that.
definite.
Okay.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then he didn't do anything in 2002. So he didn't do anything that year, but in 2001 he did Behind Enemy Lines, which is
Mm-hmm,
it's a good movie. It's a good action flick. It's a good
mm-hmm.
one. He actually did wow. He did one, two, three, four, five. He did five movies in 2001.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know he was that
Yeah,
active that year. Okay, that
yeah.
probably was the last year, or as I'm looking at it, I can't find another year where he did that many movies. 1996, he did three movies. 97, he did one. 98, he did three. 2000, he did two. 95, he did three. 94, he did one, which is Wyatt Earp.
Oh yeah.
93, he only did two. I cannot find another year
Well, he was that active
where he was that active. 88, he did okay, he did 5 movies in
Mississippi,
88.
Mississippi Burning as well, right? He did. That's 88, right?
Mississippi Burning was the last one he did in
Yeah,
1988, and then in 89 he only did one movie, The Package. I've never seen it,
yeah.
but
Wow.
wow, man, yeah, he was rocking and rolling.
You know what's another good one? Sorry, my dog's over the barking bro. You know what's another
Mhm.
good one? 96. Um, The Chamber. He plays a
Uh,
prisoner. He's a prisoner, and he's going to the gas chamber. I don't want to
okay,
spoil it, but there's yeah that movie. Yeah, man, it's really intense. I saw it at the time. I don't remember too much about it, but I know I remember the ending, and it just really got me, bro, because my dad had gotten really sick at the time, and then I don't know, it made me think of my dad. Well, my dad didn't die in the gas chamber, but I'm saying, it was just yeah, that movie was pretty good when I saw it as well. He also did what wasn't he in the no, he wasn't in the client, was he?
so the Chamber, it's with Chris O'Donnell and Gene
Yes.
Hackman, who plays a former Ku Klux Klan member
Yes.
and being accused of killing two young Jews in Mississippi.
Yeah. Which is
Okay.
kind of like Dead Man Walking, I don't know we should be saying that,
Oh
but
yeah,
something, yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
movie, Dead Man
Yeah.
Walking.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other movie you recommend by him?
Um I think no, I think I mentioned them all, bro. I think I mentioned all the ones I would you mentioned The Firm, which is another good one.
Yes,
Um
definitely watch The Firm.
yeah, we said Mississippi Burning. Get Shorty, definitely, if you want a good laugh with it. The Chamber, Enemy of the State, man, would be awesome too. Though that movie today, it's still relevant today. It even makes more sense today
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
watch the Enemy of the State. Man, that thing's just awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
man, yeah. And don't forget Uncommon Valor, man. That has to be a rewatch. Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
definitely watch
yeah.
Uncommon Valor.
Hey,
And I'll watch that one, The Chamber. I've never heard of The Chamber.
hey, Scarecrow guys, you get it on your own. With Al Pacino. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But
So,
but yeah,
yeah, man. Well, look, people say it's sad that he passed away. I mean, now, like I'm saying, we don't know. We did the disclaimer when we first started this. We don't
yes,
know what's going on as more news is coming out. Maybe there was some
definitely.
shady stuff. We don't know. That's why we're just sticking to his career and his career only.
Yeah.
Um, but he lived to be 95. I mean, how sad is it? Like
Yeah.
most people that are born, I'm just saying this, Fred,
Uh,
and maybe you could bring this up to the round table, man, because
yeah.
I don't know, man. It kind of gets to me when people are like, "Oh my goodness, so sad, just so sad." It's like the guy lived to be almost 100. Like
Yeah.
we all got to kick the bucket one day. I remember when John Wooden died. John Wooden was a
Oh yeah.
coach for the basketball team for UCLA. He
Uh,
died at 100 years old, 100 years old, right?
yeah.
And I'll remember listening to the radio, and they're like, very, very, very sad news. Our condolences go out to his family. And, like everybody was crying over it, like, oh my goodness, it's very, very sad news. And
Yeah.
our hearts go out to his family. It's like he was 100. Like,
Yeah.
how much longer do you think he was gonna live? Like, I don't. It's. I'm just saying, it's the rotation of life. I mean, most people that are born never get to see 90 years old. So if you hit
Exactly.
90 and you pass away, now unless you die like in a tragic car accident or something, but
Yeah.
if you passed away, like I don't know, how sad is it? Look, to me, Gene Hackman lived to be 95. Now again, we don't know how he passed away, so I
Yeah.
want a disclaimer, straight out
Yeah.
disclaimer. Okay, unless some funny business went on, I'm just sticking to him just passing away. I know his
Yeah.
dog is dead, his wife is dead too. As more news comes out, we'll understand. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying he was 95. He
Yeah.
lived his dream. Like, how sad.
Yeah.
Like, how much you want to live 95 more years?
No, yeah, and you know what, bro? You hit it right on the head though. Earlier on the show. Think about it, man. See, in our mind, we still see him like he looked in the movies, you know. But if you see it, if you really think about it, look at the pictures how he really looked. He was just a frail little man, dude. Like it was kind of heartbreaking to even see him like that, you know.
Right.
You know,
Okay. Good
you know,
point. Good point.
yeah, you know, it was hey Denise, and it was heartbreaking to see him that way because you're like, man, you know, I would rather remember him for his films than the way he looked at the end, man. You know, and that's
Absolutely.
really it. You know, that's really it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
again, like I'm saying, I'm sorry, Debbie brought up. Yes, there's suspicion all over the death and everything. I
yeah,
get it. I understand. And as more comes out, we'll definitely find out. And I'll probably come back on here and talk about it. But as
uh-huh.
it stands just now, with what it does look suspicious, okay? But we're not going
Yeah,
to get into it because we don't know, right? We're just going to speculate. But
definitely,
I'm
definitely.
just simply saying, he was 95. If you see the last footage of him,
Yeah,
yeah, he looks like a bony old geezer, man.
yeah,
With all due respect,
yeah,
but that's not how I remember him. I remember him
yeah,
more like from Crimson Tides, and I remember him telling Denzel Washington to shut the f up, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's how I remember him. But just a lot of this, when people pass away and they're in their 90s, and it's like, oh, just very, very sad, and our hearts go out to their family. Like, I don't know, like.
yeah,
Are
man.
is the family really that heartbroken? Like you didn't see this coming? Like, did it just shock you that somebody who's 95, 100 years old just didn't wake up one day? Like, it just caught you by surprise? Like,
Yeah, you,
I'm just saying, man, that it's life.
yeah,
And Gene Hackman lived the best life. He lived to be 95, unless there was some funny business going on, which maybe there was. That's where it's leading to.
yeah,
I'm just saying, I don't think it's that sad. I'm just saying he lived a blessed,
yeah.
long, long life.
And he had a good life, man. He left a legacy behind, man. Some of us will never get to do what he did, man. Well, won't leave a legacy like that for the world, like he
Mhm.
did. I mean, let me put it to you like this. Uh, when I think about my own personal situations, when I was when and I'll get a little personal. When I lost my parents, man. Yeah, it's one thing. It does hurt, but it's like when I look back at it's not as bad because you don't want to see them that way. Just as we've seen again, as we seen Gene Hackman in that picture, like dude, like
Yeah.
wow, it
Yeah.
just looks. It's not a good look. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. You're like he could just. I mean, if he got hit with the phone at that age, it's done. You know, I'm just saying with the landline phone, ding. I'm like, oh, dude, that would have been done. You know? But I'm saying, I mean, yeah, you're right. I think, I think sometimes it's just the human nature in us to be selfish. I mean, he did what he did. He left a legacy behind, a great legacy,
Great legacy. Yeah.
a great bunch of
Definitely.
good films. Well, I mean, hey, he lived a good life. He retired. What more do you
Yeah.
want, dude? Like, he lived a life. He
Yeah.
lived a
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
And Denise did bring up, yeah, his wife was significantly younger
Yeah,
than he was.
yeah.
So, we'll definitely find out as time goes on. But we just want to come on here. We didn't want to become Inspector Gadget because we
No,
don't
yeah,
know. We don't know. Nobody knows what happened, but it does seem to be something fishy going on. So
yeah,
I just want to come on here and remember his movies and his legacy, man. And hopefully I'm hoping he did not
yeah,
tarnish his legacy with his death, which I don't think so, but I think something was
yeah.
going on.
Well, and,
It,
and that, and when you think about his wife being 65 and he was 95, they're like, wait a minute. No, but I mean,
yeah,
if they go older, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, I'm just saying, like, man,
they
hey,
I-
man, good old
they
Gene,
got
he had a good life.
but they got married what 35 years ago,
Yeah,
30 years,
yeah.
yeah, it's something like that. They got married like over 30 years ago.
So go figure,
So
man. Look at that. Like,
man,
hey,
if
I rest my case, man. The guy had a good life. The guy had a
the,
good life. I
eh,
mean,
eh,
hey,
the guy,
I mean,
yeah, look, man,
you know,
he if he can if he can still rock and roll like that, man, with a younger woman, hey, but we gotta do this again, Fred. We got before we called it, we gotta do this again. We gotta do this again. We gotta do this again.
just do it, man.
Yeah. Let's do it. We gotta do it full screen. Hold on. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is so damn good. Shout outs to Gene Hackman and Dennis Farina right here.
Lee
Mhm.
Palmer, where's Leo DeVoe? Where's my fucking money?
Ray, look at me.
What?
Look at me, Ray.
Did you just say look at you?
Look at me, Ray.
I tell you what, Harry. Why don't you take a fucking look at this?
Oh, dude, that's so classic. That's so classic, man. That movie's just so freaking classic, dude. Oh, man, dude. And
All
what,
right.
part one and part two actually. Well, part two wasn't as good. It wasn't about a movie. It was about a record label. But yeah, man, no, yeah, that movie's too classic.
I
Man.
never saw part two. I never saw part two.
Yeah, that one was a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't as good, man. The Rock came out in it and stuff. Although
Oh no, I did see part two. The Rock had a little afro going on.
yeah, and Cedric the
He
Entertainer and
he played pretty feminine. He was pretty
off
feminine in
topic.
that one.
Off topic. Let me tell you one scene about part two though. It's called "Be Cool," which is part two of this film.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Oh,
be cool.
sorry, my dog's over the barking dog. But John Travolta is still playing Chili Palmer, right? Actually, two scenes. He's talking to somebody. I forget. He's talking to somebody in the car, and he's saying, "You know what? I didn't know that to make a movie to be rated R, you got to say the F word 5 times." He goes, "No, that's the way." Like, yeah, man. He goes, "You have to believe that," and they start throwing a bunch of F bombs there. Just it was just, it just that was probably one of the best scenes in that film. The other
Yeah.
one was, I think John Travolta falls down or something happens. I forget the scene. But here comes Danny DeVito, right? And he's walking, and he's now he's an actor. He's gonna be, he's an actor, right? And then he says, He says, "Hey man, I got something." I'm paraphrasing now. Danny DeVito tells him, "Hey man," he goes, "I got the role." He goes, I'm playing Johnny Cash, the Man in Black." And John Travolta goes, "Johnny Cash was 6 feet tall." And he goes, "Cameron, Cameron," goes, hilarious
Oh
stuff.
man,
I got some Danny
uh,
DeVito stories, bro, but we'll get to that another time. I got
Fred.
some
Uh,
real Danny DeVito stories, man, but we'll
all
get
right,
about that another time.
so we're
You
gonna
know,
wrap it up.
yeah,
Fred,
yeah.
final. Your favorite movie with Gene Hackman?
My favorite movie. God, there's a lot of them. But being that we're I would have to say Enemy of the State, man. I would have to say Enemy, just based on the fact of everything else, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I go Crimson Tide. Crimson
Okay.
Tide is my favorite movie with Gene Hackman. That scene that I played in the very beginning when we first started this live is so damn powerful. Him and Denzel going at it is my favorite Gene
Yeah.
Hackman movie, man.
You know what? Let me take that back, bro. Scarecrow. No, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding. Hey, or
Uh,
hey, tomorrow you'll be flying over here with the phone in your hand. Oh
with
my
the hey man, hey, rest in peace to the late
God.
great Gene Hackman. As
Definitely.
more information comes out, we'll probably come back on here and talk a little bit more about it. But this was just to go ahead and remember all the good times in the movies that he did and left behind. So,
Yeah.
hopefully there's not too much funny business going on with their death.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. May his wife rest in peace, and may his dog rest in peace too for all the dog lovers. So
Definitely. Definitely.
that that is Fred Segura from Two Face Entertainment, Cholo Trucker, M.A.S. Movies and Shows, saying rest in peace to the late great Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Hasta la vista, baby.